Hello. So we are delighted to be joined by Dr. Suzanne Henwood this evening. So thank you, Suzanne, for joining us. You're presenting at the conference next year, and you're joining us this evening from New Zealand. So I'm guessing it might be sunny there. It's certainly cold and chilly here.
Yeah, we're definitely going into summer, and hello, it's nice to connect.
Yeah, absolutely. So Suzanne, you are presenting next year on keeping it real, using NLP in the everyday for stress and anxiety. Certainly sounds like something we could possibly be benefiting from right now. So do start by telling us a bit more about yourself and your presentation.
Yeah, so if people don't know me, I am in New Zealand. I've been here, 13 plus years now.
Is it that long?
I know it's flown by, but you can hear from my accent, I'm originally from the UK. And I was trying to remember when we met. I think I came up with about 2006, but I'm not 100% sure. It was certainly quite a long while away.
Yeah.
So yeah, I moved here. I live just outside Auckland in a beautiful place right on the edge of a rainforest. So it really is lush and green. And yes, we get a bit of rain, but it's we also get lots of sunshine. So I'm near an amazing surf beach and harbour beaches and rainforest. And I just love the outside kind of life and the connection to nature that I get through that I didn't necessarily have where I was in the UK.
Bit different to England.
Just a bit, but it's absolutely lovely. And, you know, I moved here for an academic job. I spent nearly a decade as an associate professor in health and social sciences. And I went out on my own to be able to do more of my own thing, but bring that geeky researcher and academic into everything I do. So I have a mixed toolbox these days, but nothing's in that toolbox that hasn't got a research base behind it or an evidence-based. Yeah, so, and that I guess is what I thought I would offer for the conference this year. Is I work very much in that health and well-being, stress and anxiety place. And I weave a whole range of different modalities from NLP and MBIT, havening, ACT, polyvagal informed theory. I could list lots of different toolboxes. And what I love being able to do is kind of be with the client in that moment when they arrive and choose which one is most appropriate for that client. But what I'm learning over time is NLP is like this golden thread that weaves them all together. And so many of them have components of NLP in them that is not called NLP.
Right.
And others where they may not have NLP in them, if only they did, because it would beautifully enhance this, particularly the language skills.
Yeah.
So both NLP and MBIT, which I see as one box really, because it came out of the same core, I weave those into everything that I do. And so what I wanted to share with people was kind of go, yeah, you might know this tool or this tool, but how do you begin to integrate them, weave them? And as I say, I think for me, NLP and MBIT are the weave that beautifully hold them all together. So keeping it real, I wanted to make it very practical. I want to share some of my favorite tools that I use, share how they integrate, and leave people with a nice little mini stress and anxiety toolbox that they can take away with them.
All tied together with a beautiful golden thread.
Absolutely, a nice bow on the top.
Lovely. So what will delegates take away from your session?
Well, definitely the practical skills. And I think twofold for those. One is we're all going through challenging times. And so for themselves to actually have something that, because we're all precious and unique and complex and, you know, exquisitely individual, that hopefully they'll pick up something that they like for them, that they go, actually, I like doing that. It felt good. I felt a response. And so they'll have something to add in their own kind of daily practice. But wider than that, to give them a range of tools they can use with clients or staff so that they're not stuck. You know, we've probably all had that client who doesn't get the result that you want straight away, or ends up kind of repivoting back into an old behavior or pattern. And I just go to another tool then. So to give them options and possibilities. So definitely that. I also have quite a quirky sense of humor. So hoping there'll be lots of fun and smiles and giggles along the way. And I might weave some humor deliberately in, because it's a great stress reliever. And the opportunity to actually have a go. So it's going to be really practical, interactive. They'll be going out into breakout rooms for each of those tools and trying them with someone else. So yeah, I'm thinking that the hour and a half is going to absolutely fly by really fast, and they're going to come away possibly going, wow, I didn't know it, or really good confirmation that they did know it, and it's reinvigorated something they had learned a long while ago and hadn't applied to stress.
Yeah, great. And that's the thing, isn't it? So many times what we know just applied in a different way, and it's, oh yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, and if ever the world was looking for more stress reduction tools, it's got to be now. So mental health systems are not working. They can't cope with the volume. So I think we have to reimagine what that low level of mental health care and cover is, that maybe we don't even call mental health, that it doesn't quite reach that therapeutic threshold. But it would if it didn't get treated. So if we could manage that, reimagine what that looks like, then hopefully we would also support those at the therapeutic mental health level by the numbers not having to, block their waiting list, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. So is there anything that delegates can do beforehand to give them a deeper experience of your session?
Yeah, I thought it'd be really good if people kind of went inside themselves and reflected on what do they currently use, what are their favorites, what works for them, and maybe why it works for them. And then those outlier clients who don't necessarily get the great results straight away, what would you love to have had differently for them that you could have got them a result too? So coming in, acknowledging their own skill set, their own toolbox, which might be different from mine. And if we have time, we'll have chance to let people share their favorite tools that might extend my toolbox. And just reflect on that, and then come with an open mind that however amazing their toolbox is, that there's always something else to learn. Now, whether it's from me or the person they work with in the breakout room, but coming with that open, curious mind of what else and what else and what else.
That's lovely. And of course, as you say, sort of with that's the beauty of the conference being virtual, is with the platform that we've got. There is that opportunity to connect with those people that attend your presentation, but you can connect with them afterwards. You can hold additional sort of little groups and have chats and that sort of thing, and there's chat rooms that go on and everything like that. So there is always that opportunity, as you say, to learn from others and explore deeper those conversations that may occur during the presentation.
Absolutely. I mean, there are stress experts all over the world. And if we can provide that forum for that sharing, so that we can do this global kind of regulation that so needs to be done, then if I can be a small part of bringing that together or initiating that discussion, I'll feel like I've done my job for the day, really.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we've already said, the conference next year is virtual, as it was this year. You're coming and joining the conference from Auckland, so that's already adding value in a virtual environment, because that just couldn't have happened in the world we find ourselves in right now. So how else might you be planning on adding value in a virtual environment?
Yeah, I mean, that had to be my top one, didn't it? Is that I can actually be there, and I can be there for myself, but I can be there to offer my services for others. And realistically, over the last 2 years without the virtual, there's no way I could have come. Even before that, for the other kind of 11, 12 years I've been here, I haven't been able to get back every time. So for me, virtual, selfishly, like, leave it virtual. Bring in a global community so we don't have to travel, and whatever excuse you want to put by that, your carbon footprint or cost or whatever. But so yeah, virtual for me, to be able to be there is absolutely ideal. As I said, I have a quirky sense of humor, and so it'll be fun. We'll have laughs along the way. All of my clients, even though they come for kind of stress and anxiety, we end up laughing, and it's just such a joy. So I'm sure there will be humor and laughter and sarcasm, and there'll also be lots of the geeky research, neuroscience underpinning. So for people who want to know that what they're doing has got a good evidence base and really works, there will be that there as well, which I always think is a value that I bring.
Yes.
And just that whole sense of inclusion. I don't feel like I'm there as the presenter with all knowledge. I feel like I'm a facilitator to bring people together to share knowledge. So I see that as a value. I think the more collaboration we do, the better. So hopefully with all of those, I've lost count, 4 or 5 things, there's good value being brought in.
Absolutely good value. So I mean, as you've said, you have managed to get back to the conference before now, the in-person conference. You've been a presenter and you've been a delegate at the conference in the past. So what does the NLP International Conference mean to you?
Yeah, it's a multitude of things for me. I think just the sheer personal connection, to be able to come back, see good friends like you and Cash and connect, is priceless. Beyond that, there's the learning from people who I would never get a chance to go and hear in person and learn from. So the names of people over the years that I've learned from is enormous and widespread, and high-powered names that I know I wouldn't have been able to go and learn from each of those. And then something that struck me from last year was I found myself, because there was the little bit of the time limit on, being able to watch for 6 months, I thought, right, I'm going to go logic about this. I'm going to start with the ones I really want to watch. So if I run out of time, I've done them in order. And I started watching some of the big names, or some of the names I've listened to before and I know are going to be great. Or I'll go and look at a topic if someone was talking on stress or anxiety. And then I thought, do you know what? I'm going to deliberately go and listen to some people I don't know on topics I'm not familiar with. And one of the best talks that I listened to was one of those.
Really?
And I went back and rewatched it another 2 times.
Brilliant.
And there's a couple of other people over in New Zealand who were also part of the virtual conference. So I made sure to kind of text them and said, make sure you watch this one. And so, yeah, I think for me, it's that learning, good quality learning that you kind of know you want from big names, but that unexpected learning that comes from a name I've never heard of in a topic that didn't particularly grab me from the title, but inside was absolute gold.
Brilliant. And that of course is the benefit of the virtual conference, because had you been at the in-person conference, it's kind of eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and 5 people go by the wayside for the one that you want to see. So you'd never have touched upon that.
No, and if I'm honest, and probably a lot of people would feel the same, is they'll go to the people that they know or they've heard about or is honest. So, you would by default miss out those gold gems. So yeah, for me, keep it virtual, Karen.
We're hearing that a lot at the moment.
Or do blended or whatever, but
the blended is the biggest challenge for us, because obviously it is multiple streams, and we've already had quotes for doing that sort of thing, and it was kind of astronomical. If people want to pay £1,000, £1,500 a ticket, we might be able to do it, but it has to be either or, I think, for us, and we have had a lot of people recently saying, keep it virtual. So who knows? At the moment, we're all wandering into a big unknown.
Absolutely, but we are a global village these days, and I think whereas in the past, maybe that's my bias, when I was in the UK, I only particularly thought of UK, but now, as someone who is very much global village, it has changed my attitude, I think.
Mm, mm. Yeah, definitely, definitely. So thank you. It has been lovely to chat to you. Just to remind everybody, Suzanne, you are presenting at the conference next year. You're presenting on Sunday, the 22nd of May. And to be mindful of the fact that you're in Auckland, you're presenting at 9 a.m. BST, because we will be in summer by then. You will be heading into winter. As you mentioned, it's a 90-minute presentation, so there's an hour and a half of juiciness to delve into on the topic of stress and anxiety. So thank you, Suzanne. Really looking forward to seeing you next year, if not before, and looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you so much, and thank you to you and Cash for all the amazing work you do, giving the platform for people to talk and learn from. It's amazing.
Oh, that's you're more than welcome. Thank you.